Welcome back to another episode of the House Husband Diaries. As always, I am your host, Carter C. And today we are back on themes, keywords, and we're doing warm. We're doing warm because I don't know why it's taking me so long to get to this word with all the themes and all the keywords. But what we're going to do is I'm going to go through the book. I'm going to mention all, or at least all the mentions of warm that I could find that I think are in the thrill of the chase. And then I've got several quotes from Forrest Fenn, F squared, that I'd like to share at the end to kind of add a little bit of something to what the thrill of the chase has to say. And if you watched Mike Elder and I from Treasures Galore live the other day, and everybody that was in there, really appreciate you being there, since we haven't scheduled a time yet, but basically we're going to go through Where Warm Waters Halt and the book and the poem, and we're going to kind of go back and forth, and whoever else wants to come join, like, we'll have anybody. But I think what's really fascinating is there's a lot of quotes, and a video will drop before this one, so you hopefully will have already seen it, about how Forrest is messing with us. So I use quotes sparingly, and when I do use a quote, I think Toby does have it right when he says that the earlier quotes are more genuine. And I think I don't know if that's exactly how he would say it, but also a shout out to Toby and Shelley for the World Sand Project. So if you go to their YouTube page, World Sand Project, my wife and I were vacationing in Costa Rica back in January, and we took a sand sample, and he sent me that nice picture. So yeah, there you go. How about them apples? All right, let's get going. Warm. Keyword of warm. Page 40. Surviving myself. Top of the page. But the second the minute hand touched 8, Father would give us a few seconds to warm our pillows, and that was it. I don't think there's anything there, but maybe. Page 42, next page. Or flip the page. First sentence again, Gypsy Magic. In the spring, when the weather was warm, I used to raise the window that was at the side of my bed and put my pillow on the sill. Now, I'm going to be going through the next few themes, keywords, what have you. I'm going to be going through a number of ideas, one of which is windows. And people have mentioned it in passing. I don't know how many people have done videos on all of the mentions of window and what we're doing. But I will say that Gypsy Magic has a lot in there for me. And at some point, when I get enough of these theme videos out or keyword videos out, when I get to a point where I feel like I've kind of exhausted the book just from a theme and idea standpoint, I want to go back into a second layer and go, okay, here are the pages that keep coming up in these videos and these themes. But Gypsy Magic comes up a lot. And it is interesting because it's only a page. You know, if he didn't have the pictures and he didn't have the large, intro KDRR tracks, Gypsy Magic with a wagon and a fire and him looking underneath, him underneath the wagon, that would be one page. It's not a long chapter at all. It's very short. It's only like 4 paragraphs. And it's just, there's a lot in there. So the weather was warm in the spring. He used to raise the window. And then, the rest of the story. He jumps out, runs through the cemetery. And I've mentioned it a number of times. So I think there's something there. But he mentions warm there. All right, page 60. Looking for Lewis and Clark. Down at the bottom, he says, I found that riding behind the saddle on Lightning's warm, soft, furry rump helped some, but he didn't like it much and kept doing some funny dance step that I didn't trust completely. So I put my handkerchief over the hardest part of the saddle and tried to think soft thoughts. So that's funny. It's a good one. Doesn't seem like there's anything with that mention of warm specifically, but I do think that Looking for Lewis and Clark has some stuff in there. Page 66, Buffalo Cowboys. We decided later that they must have been warm-up exercises. Talking about Cody the Buffalo. We decided later that they must have been warm-up exercises. Warm up dash. All right. We're getting there. I'm telling you. We're going to figure out how to marry these clues to the map, and we're going to find this treasure chest in 2020. And if not, 2021. Guaranteed. Next 18 months, it'll be found. 19 months. September. I don't know. When does it get cold and you need to stop? I don't know. All right, page 111, Teachers with Ropes. 2 mentions. This is that whole, y'all know this part. They couldn't understand, talking about the students, why it was cold to the touch when it was in a warm room. Rather than tell them the bronze felt cold to the touch because their hands were warm, I asked them to consult their parents and write me a letter with the answer. So warm and warm. So I think that's, I think you're just talking about the physics of bronze, if that's a word or a phrase. But I think also, I wonder if your effort will be worth the cold is just saying that bronze will probably be colder than your hands when you grab it. I don't know how hot it gets, like the ambient temperature, whatever, in the shade, wherever this thing is, but I imagine that the bronze chest full of treasure is going to be colder than your body temperature, so it will feel cold when the searcher or when the finder, picks it up. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. What if I'm right? Let's just start thinking positive thoughts. What if I'm right, everyone? Okay, page 115. Down at the bottom, Olga was a delightful woman with a warm and giving heart. It's another instance of warm. Warm and giving heart could be, so warm waters. So is that just like, what is a warm heart? He doesn't mean just 98.6 degrees. He means it's warm in that she was loving, she was caring, she was giving. Warm waters. Is that tears? Is that they're not only are they warm because they're the temperature of our bodies, but they're warm because they're emotive, because they're from emotions. They come from love, not just, fear and other things, but they come from a warm heart. I'm thinking. Telling you. Page 117. When my plane and I turned south for home, I felt a serene sense of warmth and satisfaction. You think you'll feel warm when you find the treasure? Warmth and satisfaction. Warm waters. Satisfied. Comfortable. I cannot wait for the next time that Mike and I go live to talk about Where Warm Water Salt, because I have a quote about Where Warm Water Salt that I want to talk about more in depthly, and I want to get his take and anybody else that comes on and joins in the chat and stuff. I'm super on that, so super excited. Okay, two more quotes from the book, and then quotes from Forrest F squared. Page 132. You know what page 132 is? Have you figured it out by now? Do you remember this? Are you just dialed in like I am? Page 132. What's 132? It's the poem. Begin it where warm water salt. Everybody knows that. Okay. Begin it where warm water salt. That's going to be the focus for me and Mike from Treasures Galore, and we're gonna beat that to death. So our live shows are quickly going to become boring if we don't figure out what a warm water salt, right? I don't think so. I think we've got a lot to discuss on that. I think there's a lot that's not being talked about. Good stuff. All right. Last part of the book, and then we'll get to some quotes. Page 141. Ode to Peggy Jean. Down towards the bottom. She and my daughters, Kelly and Zoe, provided warm comfort and encouraged me to fight the despair that so dampened my slowly passing hours. Warm comfort. Comfortable. Warm waters. Comfortable waters. All right. You ready for the quotes? You ready for the quotes? This is going to be good because this is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to switch it up from my notes because we finished on that warm comfort in the book on page 141. If you go to his latest quote from Terry Scant, Dale Neitzel's site, from February 8th, 2017, the question was, what does warm mean to you? F squared says, it means being comfortable. And he just says, warm comfort. His wife and his daughters, warm comfort. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the earliest mention on Terry Scant from Mysterious Writings, August 7th, 2015. Question. I asked Forrest which was his favorite Indian doll and why. F squared's response was, there is a comfortable, and there's more to it, but this is just the part that fits. There is a comfortable warmth that comes with an old, much used doll. When I was writing my doll book late at night, why does it matter if it's late at night? He always puts in late at night, midnight, time. There's no reason to put in late at night. Zero. Who cares? You were writing a doll book. That's great. And I'm not meaning that aggressively towards F squared here. I'm saying, that's not a reason to put that in there. I frequently placed one of the dolls beside me. So I find that interesting that he puts in late at night again. And then he just says, there's a comfortable warmth that comes with an old, much used doll. It's kind of creepy. I don't really know many grown men that just put a doll next to them, All right. Last quote. July 1st, 2016, also from Mysterious Writings. Question. I am not even close to solving your riddle. I've tried for months and nothing works. I am not asking for a clue to the treasure. I am asking for a clue to the clues. Please help me, Mary. F squared's response. The solve is difficult for many searchers because their minds think the clues are tougher to decrypt than they really are. Some say they are trying to think outside the box, as if the solution lies somewhere out there. Until now, I have resisted telling them to get back in the box where their thoughts are comfortable, and flow more easily. The blueprint is challenging, so the treasure may be located by the one who can best adjust. To illustrate my point, go to YouTube Smarter Every Day. Now, I went to YouTube Smarter Every Day. Well, I've been to his website or his YouTube channel a number of times. I have not specifically looked to see if there's any Forrest Fenn related content. I should probably go back now that I'm recording a video on it. What I will say is I like a lot of his stuff. He seems like a really engaging, interesting fella. And one of his like big deals was going scuba diving in Iceland. There's a place in where two tectonic plates are splitting apart. It's called Silfra, and he had this video about that. So we were in Iceland. I had seen it on other stuff, and we scuba dived, my wife and I. But she hates cold water or super cold water, like to scuba dive to just kind of hang out in. I hate cold water just to be in cold water, but I was gonna scuba dive it, but there's nothing there. Nothing like lives there. It's just cold. It's just super clear. So it's really interesting. Complete aside for Smarter Every Day, but he went in. It was like one of his big, bucket list items, and it's a cool deal to swim between two tectonic plates, and you can touch both of them at certain points. It's a neat place. If you ever get a chance to go to Iceland, go check it out. Okay. One last thing. I'll open up the book, and we'll be done with warm. And I kind of slid comfortable in here if you didn't notice. Top of page 137. Those words from Millet's poem tell my story best, and that's where I'm most comfortable. Now, what are the words from Millet's poem? Safe upon the solid rock the ugly houses stand. Come and see my shining palace built upon the sand. I don't know if anything's in there specifically, but when he talks about warm is comfortable, and kind of my feeling on the quotes is that Forrest, he knows he's messing with us, and he knows when he's messing with us, and he enjoys saying things that aren't necessarily accurate. He's not lying, but he's messing with us, and he's enjoying it. And so I think it's fascinating because, well, one of the things about where warm water's halt is he says we're oversimplifying where warm water's halt, but then he says people need to get back in the box and people need to simplify. So I want to dig into that more in future videos, but I just want to keep going through these themes and keywords. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to get through themes and through keywords and through kind of everything in the book so that we'll all be starting from, hey, here's all of this information, and here is taking it out of context, out of the stories. Here's aberrations. Here's things that live out on the edge, and let's just see if we can't put this puzzle back together. So thanks so much for watching this episode of the House Husband Diaries. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you have a great week, whatever, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.